Shalom, shalom, brothers and sisters. That was part one. My phone died, so I'm gonna pick off where I left off for part two. Now it's about to get deep because a lot of y'all, your mouths are gonna hit the floor when you hear what this says. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna start right back where it says he wrought cures, as did many others in those times. So he cured people, and so did other people. So he wasn't the only person walking around curing people and doing things like that. The Levites put out that he did not as they, but by the power of the prince of darkness. So they saying he didn't cure people as they did. See, he wasn't the only one curing people. It says the Levites put out that he did not as they, but by the power of the prince of darkness. So that tell you right there, he wasn't the only one walking around curing people. You see how they just lifted him up and like exalted him. Just keep listening, y'all. Remember, chew the meat, throw away the bone. But Jesus said that such was blasphemy, as the healing spirit of God was strong within him. So that's just something he said. He said that, but that's for us to decipher or whatever. Therefore, such an accusation was a sin, but they mocked him. He was a true man, a good organizer, strong, alert, and resourceful. He had determination and courage, though withal he could be gentle and compassionate. He was inflexible in purpose, yet he could bend before the storm and survive where the stubborn man would go down. He stood firmly against the holy men of the Jews, whose seeming holiness was but a cloak, for it was something lined with intolerance and sewn with threads of sadness. Good men do good deeds out of the sight of others to gain merit from their selfishness and sacrifices. One came to Jesus saying, Lord, I give many gifts and alms to the poor. I am ever given to the needy. I am a rich man, but my riches have come by lawful means. I have traded with ships and encountered dangers to acclimate them. Having gained wealth, I have moderation, supplying only my moderate needs. I give the rest to the needy poor, and I am ever ready to serve and deserving. Am I then a sinner? Jesus said no. By giving with discretion and making such sacrifices, you gain merit, and there is no harm in seeking riches for worthy ends. I'm sorry, y'all. It is the love of money for its own sake that is productive of evil. The evils of riches arise from their misuse. If a man gains wealth in a lawful way and does not live in luxury, supplying no more than his moderate needs, serving the poor and deserving with his surplus, then his moderate needs, serving moderate. Oh, wait, where was I? Oh, his moderate needs, serving the poor and deserving with his surplus, then he goes then he does no wrong. I'm sorry, y'all. I jumped from one sentence to another. Okay. A teacher of the Jewish, just listen, y'all. I want y'all to listen to this. Way said to Jesus, if God is so great and all-knowing, why does he not strike down the wrongdoer? Why does he withhold his justifiable wrath when the wicked man swallows up the man who follows the path of goodness? Is he not the God of justice? Jesus replied, justice is not a thing of the time, though the mills of God grind slowly. They grind to perfection. Life itself mets out justice. The justice of God, justice, the injustice of men. Where this is not so, I would not have come. Oh, yeah, here we go. Jesus was then asked if he was one with God. Oh, okay. Jesus was then asked if he was one with God, and he answered, "It is not in me to state that, which I know to be untrue. And truly there can be but one God alone, because I have been granted visions and insight into things unseen and unknown to other men. What manner of man would I be? Did I claim equality with God?" Oh, wow. Let me read that again. Some of our people need to hear this. Jesus was then asked if he was one with God. Now remember, he said, "Me and my Father are one" in the New Testament, right? Jesus was then asked if he was one with God, and he answered, "It is not in me to state that, which I know to be untrue. And truly there can be but one God alone, because I have been granted visions and insight into things unseen and unknown to other men. What manner of man would I be to claim equality with God? I have spoken only that which I am bidden. I have said, worship God, who is my Father and your Father. Does this then raise me above other men? I have proclaimed all men my brothers." Okay, you hear this, right? "And if I have said I am even as God, then truly I have raised them up also. Yet this they cannot see. Or is it that they fear the burden of their own godhood?" Jesus came and was like the slasher, which clears away the useless undergrowth in the forest of life. He uprooted and burnt that which was unproductive. He planted good trees, but the undergrowth returns. It is a time for the activities of good men. Jesus found pearls by the seashore. He sowed the good seed in the hearts of those who followed him closely. For his sake, many of the rich became poor. He came and separated men out of the errors of the world. He brought men a mirror into which they could look and see their own divinity. So it's saying he brought them a mirror so they could see their spirits. They spirit. Okay. He opened a door now open to all, and those who choose to pass through stand on the road to the eternal. He raised up the fallen and healed the afflicted, like everybody else was doing. He woke those who slept and reminded those who had forgotten. He enlightened the righteous and gathered in those who were lost. To what can he be compared? To the great sun that shines down, giving joy and life to all living things, to a great river going gladness to men, and the waters of life to beasts. To the good husband who cherishes his fields and tends his flock, to the man of the forest who care for the trees and thankfully gather the fruits thereof. The sun shines today, and the air gleams with light. The earth puts forth blossoms, and the seas are calm. The waters flow clearly. The birds sing, and the gloomy winter has gone. Hope dawns, and so it is with the Son of Man. Okay, let's keep it moving. The tree of glory has been planted and will survive, for it is well serviced. Its servants are dutiful. Dutiful. So let it be like the holy, whose leaves are not shed in summer or winter, which stands with weapons ever ready in persecution or freedom, in good days and bad. He who neglects these scriptures is like the branch of a fruitless tree. His life is fruitless. Blessed are those who seek the fruit that grows out of our good deeds. He who copies a book is like a maimed man who gives his weapons to the whole and healthy man. The lettered man resembles this good land, which takes the seed and nourishes it. The rains fall plentiful, and the crop is good. The life men live is like an inn, where they dwell shortly, or like a house rented for a limited time. Vessels of metal and earthenware are to them like borrowed utensils. Their riches are held in trust. The wise man uses them, and they serve them. But he does not set in his heart on these things, or hug them to his bosom. Yeah, I don't want to be catching nobody hugging no money. Like, you're doing too much. Who is the most praiseworthy for his goodness? The son of a rich man or the son of a poor man? The rich son gives only what he himself has been given. So surely it is the son of the poor man, for he has overcome the temptations of poverty and satisfied the cry of hungry mouths with the earnings of his own labor. It is the poor who help the poor, for the rich help themselves. Yeah, that's true. There are those who fast for the sake of heaven, but Jesus said it were better they did devote themselves to learning the scriptures and to good works for the sake of heaven. So I'm gonna shut up. All right. Yet it is useless to merely read the scriptures for you unless they be taken into the heart and lived by. Then they are things of little value and use. So wait a minute. So he said, "Oh my goodness, this stupid phone." All right, well, let me just keep going. Live by, and they are things of value, of little value and use. Okay, the value of all sacred writings lie in what people do with them. More important still is what the scriptures do to the people. A man asked Jesus, "Lord, what does it mean when it is written that the iniquities of the father shall visit upon the children?" Jesus said, "When a man commits a sin for which he does not make full recompense in his life, then the same temptation is placed in the way of the son. For there is a bond of family blood between them. It is not manifest also that the wrongs a man does within his own household become the sins of the sons within their households, wrongfully living with the heritage of generations. Mhm. A man asked, "Where is God?" Jesus took a piece of bread and gave it to the man, saying, "Take this and hold it." Then he said, "Put out the other hand." And he poured a little water on the upturned palm and said, "Now you have felt the power of God, for without his spirit in the bread and in the water, these will not exist for you. Split the billet of wood, and God will be there. Lift up a stone, and you will find him." Another said, "Tell us how we may be best serve God." Jesus replied, Talk, talk not of serving God as you would serve a king. In serving God, man serves himself. You ask in your heart, shall you be this or that, or a priest? Let your own heart point the best way, and having chosen it, follow it. First of all, you're appointed. It ain't no, you can't just say I'm gonna be this. The Most High appoints. Okay, the devotion and fortitude. I'm sorry. At a wedding feast, Jesus was asked, "Master, why do you come to this place when it is a gathering place of those who seek only their own pleasure and will drink to excess if it is provided?" Jesus said, "Our purpose here is to make glad the hearts of the host and to share in their enjoyment, blending their pleasures with ours." What? There will always be those who are neglectful to their obligations and who concern themselves with only with their own well-being. Yet is the reason enough not to bring happiness to those who have invited us. One day Jesus and those with him, I haven't heard nothing about no 12 disciples yet, and those with him came upon an old man playing with childish things. A bow and an arrow bearing huntsmen passing by mocked him, saying, "Behold, the old man playing as a child." Jesus called him over and said, "Do you always keep your bow bent and string under stress?" "Of course not," replied the huntsman. "To do so would be foolish, for the bow will become useless where it not unbent from time to time." Jesus said, "Just so is it with the old man, and you should know better. The bowman strings his bow before he shoots, and when the shooting is over, he unstrings it. A bow kept always strung will break and be useless when needed." hmm So it is with a man who never relaxes. He is ever taut within, and when the testing time comes, his stomach turns to water. Jesus taught that there are things which should be approached, with humility of spirit. They are holiness, wisdom, and nobility. Humility bestows upon the soul the benefit of harmony and atonement. hmm A man once said Jesus, "But who can define these things? That which is holy to one man can be unholy to another. The thing which one man holds sacred, another holds to be an abomination. That which one will bless, another will curse." Jesus said, "The many nations of men, because of the diversity of their natures, hallow many different persons, places, and things apart from their gods. But nothing can be made holy by men alone, neither can anything holy of earth be holy. Mhm. That which is holy of and for God is holy. The place holy for God is holy, and the person who lives holy for God is holy." Okay, but where on earth can such absoluteness be found. It was a lot of people that were sinless men. Abraham, a lot of men. David's father, Jesse, he was sinless. If by gathering in the temple men feel they can better commune with God, then he will be there, and that place will be holy. If within a circle of stones or before the symbolic image, the soul of a man may be stirred to atonement, then God will not absent himself because of the nature of the place. He will meet men wherever men earnestly prepare for his coming. But that's not true, because certain men, he don't even listen to them. Like if you read the story of Og, King Og, it was different. Oh man, let me see if I can hurry and get this out to y'all, man. This stupid phone dying. Shoot, I gotta find it, y'all. Oh, here it is. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I got 5 seconds. This thing is on 5%. Please, oh man, I knew this was gonna happen. All right, y'all. Hold on. I want to read this last one to y'all. I really did. Watch out, I ain't gonna find it. You know what? I'm gonna stop where I was at, and I'm gonna just put up a part 3, because this stupid phone is gonna die. And I want to read everything to y'all. I want to read this whole thing to y'all. All right, my brothers and sisters, I'm sorry. I will put part 3 up soon as this phone charge up. Shalom, shalom.